in 2011, the Minister of Economic Development Department, that is Minister Patel, signed the Green Economy Accord at COP17, or just before COP17. And the accord is mainly to bind government, organized labor, and also business, to come up with ways of making the country more energy efficient, or having a manufacturing industry that is for domestic use and also for export markets.
Now the EDD, which is quite different to many other departments, which starts with the D in the front, is the Economic Development Department. What do? They do not have programs such as the Support Program for Industrial Innovation, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, etc., that you would get within the DTI. They are essentially there to promote economic planning and coordination. They are there to provide oversight and policy coordination, and they are there, in the particular case that I was there, was to contribute to this towards the establishment and promulgation of a green economy. So the EDD was there to create the policy, to create a structural alignment, because DTI has lots of money, National Treasury wants to spend, IDC is one of our, or EDD's instruments towards industrial development. We need to create jobs, we need to create equity, balance, and so we need to align this huge state spending engine from the different departments so that we have the outcomes that we want. Now remember, the green economy is but one subsector of a larger pie, because there are about 12 of them. There's the knowledge economy, there's the social economy, there's the involvement of the public sector, there's a manufacturing sector. So the green economy was one of the pillars that we wanted to mobilize.
But at the DTI, the role of the DTI, one of it is to promote the competitiveness of the business. It is our belief that the SMME has got a role to play within this whole value chain. You have asked how are we supporting the SMME. For us to be able to leverage the industrial development within the country, we are having different programs that we are using to ensure that we are going to have industrialization taking place.
Green economy is a new sector in which necessitated that the DTI forms a structure that is going to look after the sector. We actually sell South Africa as a destination for investment in the green economy space. If we promote investment and we establish local manufacturing facilities in South Africa, particularly in the renewable energy efficiency space, we need to be able to sell those products that we manufacture. We take companies from South Africa to exhibition in different countries to display not just their products, but also their services, to say, I am providing a consulting service in the renewable energy space. I can do this in South Africa, I can do this in Abu Dhabi, in Botswana, and we provide support, financial support, to take companies to go and sell their services in other countries. We are responsible for setting local content requirements. And with local content, we are saying that out of the total project value that the IPP will be proposing, we are saying a certain percentage of that must be procured locally. And with the local content requirements, we are also emphasizing on local manufacturing of renewable energy and energy efficiency products. And as a result of that, we have seen a number of investors coming to South Africa wanting to establish manufacturing facilities.
We have special funds where we provide low interest rate, long-term loans to enable people to put more efficient processes into existing industry or into existing buildings or even into commercial operations. So we have special funds for that. And entrepreneurs can come to us. They can come to us with a fully developed business plan and say they need whatever type of finance they need. RDC does guarantees. We do equity. We do debt. We fund community equity. We fund BE equity. So we can provide any form of finance that's needed to get the business over the goalpost if you have a completely developed business plan. But part about being a development financier is taking the higher risk projects than the commercial banks would do. If you've got something that's very like asset finance, you want to finance a truck or something like that, or something that's a slam dunk, we'll send you to the commercial banks, because we don't really want to compete with the commercial banks. We want to do the higher risk, the more developmental type projects. Roughly a third of our energy is electricity, a third is transport fuels, and a third is industrial energy, heating and process energy. But if you look at the spend, 70% of it is on transport, and only about 25 to 30% is on electricity, and about 10% is on industrial heat. So the real focus area, I believe, and that we're doing some projects, and is to look at transport energy. So we've got projects with things like biogas, putting that into taxis and buses. We've got some fuel cell projects which are very exciting, because South Africa, we're looking at the new areas, but it's a lot difficult, and those projects take more time, take more money often. We don't often get the money back sooner, so we can only tackle a certain number of those, let's say, more higher risk projects. But we've got a number of developmental projects that we're working with, and we work with entrepreneurs. We don't run the projects. We're a financier. We might sit on the steering committee. But we need entrepreneurs to be working 24/7, 365 with their own sweat and blood and their own money in the projects, that they're committed to the projects. And then we're very, very keen to support entrepreneurs on those projects.
We essentially have the mandate to coordinate renewable energy research and development in the country. We do this via a variety of means, but I like to tell people we're a catalyst for making renewable energy develop in the country. Specifically, Record is involved in training of people to go into the renewable energy sector. So one of government's big deliverables, of course, is always jobs. We are implementing, or in the process of implementing, the South African Renewable Energy Training Center, and that's based at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology.
I mean, you need to be very much connected to know what's really happening around you. But nonetheless, as I've indicated, I mean, this is the environment that is quite, capital intensive.
If anybody goes into the green economy business thinking it's a quick, rich scheme, then that's already a starting point that's doomed for failure. It is not. Secondly, as my colleague has correctly said, to play in this space, it's highly regulated, sometimes over-regulated, and sometimes purposefully regulated. The barriers of entry to even getting IDC money is extremely high. Even for people that are seasoned, that have been in government, understand the system, and you want to do it the right way, so that you don't have skeletons and ghosts that come and tokolosis that come and haunt you. So it is very difficult, because you need to understand, if you're going to the IDC, everything that was said is true, but they still have an IRR that they're going to play to, and there's a checklist. And if one blockie is not ticked on that, you're going to be sent home. The one good thing I can say sitting on this side of the fence is, other than the frustrations, other than the bureaucracy, and it's not going to go away, I lived in Oz, it's worse. But there are instruments, and you can access them, and God willing, they will support you.
Now, when you talk green technologies, it is, as a lot of the panelists reminded us, it's uncharted territory. This is new development. So the haul is much, much longer. The value chain that you have to consider and design around is that much longer. It's just that much more sweat that you have to put in to make it work. A business plan, to us, would be a work in progress, and a sustainable business case would be a mitigated risk, something that I can take to the IDC. And I believe that is where EcoVest is today. I can ask you this question. Which of these two statements, if you look at your business, will you die for your client or will you live for your client? That's what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. They don't see the difficulties. They're too keen. They're too passionate. They want to get out there. They want to get going. They don't admit these hassles. He would probably die for his client. If you admit these hassles and you spend some time fixing them before you really take the big leap, you'd probably live for him. He'll be there. And you'll see the fruit of your love turn into a good business. Our business plan now is a sustainable business case. We could cross that divide. And we are now market ready to actually launch our product, and we will survive the still difficult days ahead.
The challenge that we have picked up from the DTI is that we are focusing on promoting not the finished product into the country, but looking at how do you beneficiate the product that you are having. The MSEP, for example, is even looking at assisting you with the feasibility study to do your work. It is assisting you to get to the standards required for the products that you are having. That is there and is available for your use.
We have started to create a database of, when I say database, I don't mean the supplier database where you normally register for anything. I mean the companies that are specifically in the renewable energy sector, companies that are specifically providing or manufacturing components in the renewable energy space. We are keeping that database and we are updating it on a regular basis.
At the DTI, we are having the cooperatives incentive programs that can be used to support such initiatives. We have worked with the Gauteng Department of Economic Development, trying to see to it how can we support those people who are not organized. And the answer that we've got from that was to say they are not prepared to be organized and come into a cooperative format that will make it easier for us to support them. Maybe the challenge that we need to ask today here is to say, how do we market these initiatives to be known to you? And how do we make ourselves available to you? That is what we need to look at.
As government, our job is to create an enabling environment for business to be able, for that activity to be able to happen.
They should incentivize all energy efficiency things on some uniform basis, but government has things and they pick technologies, and that I'm personally against it because it doesn't allow, it's to me it's constitutionally unfair in any case, but they should allow the technologies to compete against each other on a fair basis, but that's not the way it works. You know, they give CSP more money than they give wind power, and they give wind money a lot more power than they give biogas and biomass. So, look, we work with the private sector, and we've got to work within the regulatory and the policy environment. And of course, if it's in your favor, you're happy, and if it's against you, then you complain. So, you know, you get some bad luck and you get some good luck as an entrepreneur in terms of the regulatory environment. We've been spending money trying to develop projects. We've got some recycling projects going. But we've had a lot more hassles than we've had successes in that sector. It's a very difficult sector to work with. And, you know, then you've also got the big waste companies, and you know, they're also looking after their territory. So it's a very difficult sector to work in.
And it seems to me that there are a lot of opportunities. There are challenges, as the two entrepreneurs have actually indicated. There are challenges, but I'm quite certain that government is doing much, to address those particular challenges. There are incentive schemes at the DTI, incentive schemes here at the Innovation Hub and other government departments, and also there is IDC that can assist renewable energy companies or any green economy company that can come up with a very strong, convincing business case.
Please, let's give a round of applause to the panelists. So my job this evening is a very easy one. First of all, to thank each and every one of you for having taken the time to come here and be with us and network. We appreciate your presence, and we also value your input.